Zara's small spaceship raced through the vast emptiness of space, its engines humming softly. The young human explorer sat in the pilot's seat, her eyes fixed on the control panel. She had been traveling for months, mapping unexplored regions of the galaxy. Another day, another star system. Zara muttered to herself, brushing a strand of dark hair from her face. She loved her job, but sometimes the loneliness of deep space got to her. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. Red warning lights flashed on the console. Zara's heart raced as she quickly scanned the readouts. "What the hell?" she exclaimed. Her ship was being pulled towards an uncharted planet by a powerful gravity field. Zara's hands flew over the controls, trying to break free, but it was no use. The planet's pull was too strong. "Mayday! Mayday!" Zara shouted into the communication system. "This is Explorer Zara Wilson. My ship is going down on an unknown planet in Sector X9. Coordinates." But before she could finish, the ship entered the planet's atmosphere. Flames licked at the windows as the small craft plummeted towards the surface. Zara gritted her teeth, fighting with all her skill to control the descent. With a bone-jarring crash, the ship slammed into the ground. Zara's head snapped forward, then back against her seat. For a moment, everything went black. When Zara opened her eyes, smoke filled the cabin. Coughing, she unbuckled her harness and stumbled to the emergency hatch. With a hiss, it opened, and Zara tumbled out onto alien soil. The air was thick and humid, filled with strange, sweet scents. Massive trees towered overhead, their leaves a deep purple. In the distance, Zara could hear odd, rumbling calls that sent shivers down her spine. "Okay, Zara," she said to herself, taking deep breaths to calm her racing heart. "First things first, check the ship." A quick inspection showed that her craft was in bad shape. The landing gear was crushed, and one of the wings had been torn off completely. It would take weeks, maybe months, to repair, if she even had the right parts. Zara activated her wrist computer, trying to send out a distress signal. Nothing but static came back. "Great," she muttered. "No communication, no way off this rock. Guess I better see what I'm dealing with." Grabbing her emergency pack, Zara set out to explore her surroundings. The forest was like nothing she had ever seen. Plants that looked like giant, glowing mushrooms dotted the landscape. Small, six-legged creatures scurried away as she approached. As Zara pushed through the dense undergrowth, she suddenly froze. There, not 20 feet away, was the most terrifying creature she had ever seen. It stood on two powerful legs, its body covered in iridescent scales. Massive claws tipped each of its four arms, but it was the head that made Zara's blood run cold. 3 pairs of glowing eyes were set above a mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth. Zara's mind raced, trying to recall if she had ever heard of such a species. Then it hit her, the Vorn. A race so deadly, so feared, that most spacers considered them nothing but a legend. The galaxy's apex predators. The Vorn's head swiveled towards her. Zara held her breath, not daring to move. For a long moment, predator and human stared at each other. Then, to Zara's shock, the Vorn stumbled. It let out a low, keening sound and collapsed to the ground. Zara could see now that its side was badly wounded, green blood oozing from a deep gash. Every instinct screamed at Zara to run, to hide, to get as far away from this deadly creature as possible. But something held her back. The pain in the Vorn's eyes, the way it struggled to rise. It touched something deep inside her. "I must be out of my mind," Zara whispered. Then, slowly, cautiously, she began to approach the fallen predator. The Vorn's eyes locked onto her, a mix of pain and confusion evident in its gaze. Zara raised her hands, trying to show she meant no harm. "It's okay," she said softly, knowing the creature couldn't understand her words, but hoping her tone would calm it. "I'm not going to hurt you. I want to help." As Zara drew closer, she couldn't believe what she was doing. Here she was, a lone human on an alien world. about to try and aid the galaxy's most lethal predator. But in that moment, staring into the Vorn's eyes, Zura knew she couldn't just walk away. Whatever happened next would change her life forever. Zura's heart pounded as she inched closer to the fallen Vorn. Its massive form dwarfed her, making her feel small and vulnerable. Yet, the creature's labored breathing and the pain in its eyes stirred something within her. "Easy now," Zura murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm going to try and help you." The Vorn's 6 eyes tracked her every movement. It let out a low growl, a sound that sent chills down Zora's spine. But it didn't attack. Whether from weakness or curiosity, the predator seemed willing to let her approach. Zora knelt beside the creature, her hands shaking as she examined its wound. The gash was deep, green blood oozing from it steadily. Whatever had caused this injury must have been formidable indeed. "Okay, big guy," Zora said, trying to keep her voice calm. "This is going to sting a bit, but it'll help, I hope." She pulled out a medkit from her pack and began to clean the wound. The Vorn flinched at her touch but remained still. As Zora worked, she found herself talking to the creature, explaining what she was doing. It couldn't understand her words, of course, but the sound of her voice seemed to soothe it. "You know," Zura said as she applied a healing gel to the wound, "I think I'll call you Fang. Seems fitting, doesn't it?" The newly named Fang rumbled softly, its eyes never leaving Zora's face. As she finished bandaging the wound, Zora sat back on her heels. "There, that should help. Now, what am I going to do with you?" Fang tried to stand but stumbled, still weak from blood loss. Without thinking, Zora reached out to steady it. Her hand touched the creature's scaled skin, and she froze, realizing what she had done. But Fang didn't attack. Instead, it leaned slightly into her touch, as if grateful for the support. "Well," Zora said, a small smile tugging at her lips, "I guess we're in this together now, huh?" Over the next few days, Zora split her time between repairing her ship and caring for Fang. The Vorn's recovery was remarkably fast, its alien biology clearly more resilient than a human's. But even as it regained strength, Fang didn't leave. On the 3rd day, as Zora was gathering fruit from a nearby tree, after careful testing to ensure it was safe for human consumption, she heard a commotion from the clearing where she had left Fang. Racing back, she burst through the foliage to find Fang locked in combat with another alien creature. This new beast was all teeth and claws, its body a writhing mass of tentacles. It had Fang pinned, its maw inching closer to the Vorn's throat. Without thinking, Zora grabbed a large branch from the ground. "Hey," she shouted, waving her arms. "Over here, you overgrown squid." The creature's head swiveled towards her, momentarily distracted. It was all the opening Fang needed. With a roar that shook the trees, the Vorn surged upward, throwing off its attacker. In a flurry of claws and teeth, Fang tore into the other creature. Zara watched in awe as Fang fought. The Vorn's reputation as the galaxy's deadliest predator was well earned. Within moments, the fight was over, the attacker lying still on the forest floor. Breathing heavily, Fang turned to Zara. For a moment, human and alien stared at each other. Then, to Zara's amazement, Fang inclined its head slightly, as if nodding to her. "You're welcome," Zara said, her voice filled with wonder. "And thank you." That night, as Zara sat by her campfire, Fang settled down beside her. The Vorn's massive form curled around the camp, its eyes alert for any danger. Zara found herself leaning back against Fang's warm scales, feeling safer than she had since crash landing on this planet. "You know, Fang," Zara said, gazing up at the alien stars, "I think this might be the start of a beautiful friendship." Fang rumbled softly in response, and Zara smiled. She didn't know what the future held, but she had a feeling it was going to be one hell of an adventure. As days turned into weeks, Zara and Fang fell into an unexpected routine. Each morning, they would venture out into the alien forest together. Fang would hunt, demonstrating its incredible skills, while Zara collected samples and made notes about the strange world around them. One sunny day, as they explored a new area of the forest, Zara stumbled upon something extraordinary. Hidden behind a curtain of glowing vines was the entrance to a cave. Strange symbols were carved into the rock around the opening. "Look at this, Fang," Zara called out excitedly. "I think these might be Vorn writings." Fang approached, its eyes scanning the symbols. To Zara's amazement, the Vorn reached out one clawed hand and traced the carvings, almost reverently. "Can you understand these?" Zara asked, forgetting for a moment that Fang couldn't reply in words. But to her surprise, Fang nodded its massive head. The Vorn then gestured towards the cave entrance, as if inviting Zara to follow. "Well, I guess we're going in," Zara said, her curiosity overcoming any fear. Inside, the cave opened up into a vast chamber. The walls were covered in more of the strange symbols, glowing faintly in the dim light. In the center of the room stood a raised platform, upon which rested a small metallic object. As they approached the platform, Fang made a series of clicks and rumbles. Zara watched in fascination as the object responded, lighting up and projecting a holographic image into the air. The hologram showed Vorn in various poses, hunting, building, even what looked like ceremonies. It was a cultural record, Zara realized, her scientist's mind racing with the implications. "This is incredible, Fang," she breathed. "Your people's history, right here." Over the next few hours, Fang guided Zara through the holographic display. Though they couldn't communicate in words, the Vorn found ways to convey meaning through gestures and sounds. Zara learned that the Vorn were not just mindless predators, as galactic rumors claimed, but a complex species with rich traditions and advanced technology. In return, Zara shared stories of her own people. She drew pictures in the dirt, acted out scenes, and used her limited supply of tech to show images of Earth and human achievements. Fang seemed particularly fascinated by human creativity and adaptability. When Zara described how humans had gone from cave dwellers to space explorers in a relatively short time, the Vorn's eyes widened in what she could only interpret as admiration. As the alien sun began to set, casting long shadows through the cave entrance, Zara realized they had spent the entire day immersed in this cultural exchange. She felt a warmth in her chest, a deep sense of connection to this alien being that she never could have imagined when she first crash-landed on this planet. "You know, Fang," Zara said as they made their way back to her camp, "I think our peoples have a lot more in common than anyone might have guessed. We're both explorers, both curious about the universe around us." Fang rumbled in agreement, its steps matching Zara's much smaller ones. That night, as they sat by the campfire, Zara found herself singing softly. It was an old Earth lullaby her mother used to sing, a melody she hadn't thought about in years. To her surprise, Fang began to make a low, harmonious sound, matching the rhythm of her song. Zara laughed in delight. "Are we having an interspecies jam session? Wait till the Galactic Council hears about this." As their impromptu concert echoed through the alien night, Zara felt a sense of hope growing within her. If a human and a Vorn could find common ground, could become friends, what other wonders might be possible out there among the stars? Little did Zara know that their newfound understanding would soon be put to the test. For beyond the peaceful forest, beyond even the reaches of this unknown planet, a threat was looming, one that would challenge everything Zara and Fang had come to learn about each other. The peaceful routine Zara and Fang had established was shattered one morning by a deafening roar from the sky. Zara burst out of her tent, heart pounding, to see a massive spaceship descending through the atmosphere. "That's not a rescue ship," Zara muttered, her eyes wide with fear. The vessel's design was unlike anything she had seen before, all sharp angles and glowing red lines. It radiated menace. Fang appeared at her side, a low growl rumbling in its throat. The Vorn's 6 eyes were fixed on the approaching ship, its body tense and ready for action. As the alien craft landed in a nearby clearing, Zara and Fang crouched in the underbrush, watching. A hatch opened, and out stepped creatures that made Zara's blood run cold. They were tall, easily 7 feet, with bodies that seemed to be a mixture of organic and mechanical parts. Their faces were hidden behind featureless black masks, and each carried a weapon that pulsed with eerie energy. "Fang," Zara whispered, "I think we're in trouble." The Vorn nodded, its eyes never leaving the new arrivals. One of the alien beings, larger than the rest and adorned with glowing red markings, stepped forward. It raised a device to its mask, and a booming voice echoed through the forest. "Inhabitants of this world, hear me," the voice thundered. "We are the Zindar Empire. Your planet has been chosen for assimilation. Resistance is futile. Submit, and you may serve. Resist, and you will be eliminated." Zara felt a chill run down her spine. She had heard whispers of the Zindar Empire during her travels, a ruthless, expansionist regime that conquered worlds and enslaved their populations. But she had always thought they were just stories meant to scare rookie space explorers. Fang let out a low, mournful sound. Zora looked at her friend, suddenly understanding. "This has happened before, hasn't it? To your people?" The Vorn nodded slowly, its eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and rage. As they watched, more Zindar ships appeared in the sky, descending to different parts of the planet. Zara's mind raced. The Vorn were incredible predators, but against an advanced empire with superior technology and numbers, even they stood little chance. "We have to do something," Zara said, determination replacing her fear. "We can't let them take this world." Fang turned to her, tilting its head in a questioning manner. I know," Zara said, running her hands through her hair. "It seems impossible. But think about it. They don't know about us yet. They don't know that a human and a Vorn are working together. That gives us an advantage." Fang's eyes seemed to light up with understanding. The Vorn made a series of clicks and growls, gesturing towards the cave they had discovered earlier. "The holographic device?" Zara asked, her mind quickly connecting the dots. "Of course. If we can access more of your people's technology, combine it with what I know, we might have a chance." With a nod of agreement from Fang, they began to move silently through the forest, avoiding the patrols of Zindar soldiers that were now scouring the area. As they traveled, Zara's mind was working overtime. She thought about the Vorn's incredible physical abilities, their advanced technology hidden away in ancient caves. She thought about human ingenuity, the way her species had always found creative solutions to seemingly impossible problems. "You know, Fang," Zara whispered as they crept through the underbrush. "Separately, the Zindar might be too much for either of us. But together, we might just have a shot." Fang rumbled in agreement, its powerful form moving with surprising stealth for its size. As they neared the cave, a Zindar patrol suddenly appeared in their path. Zara froze, her heart in her throat. But before she could react, Fang had moved. With incredible speed and silence, the Vorn dispatched the patrol, its natural hunting abilities proving more than a match for the Zindar's technology. Zara stared in awe at her friend. "Remind me never to get on your bad side," she said with a nervous chuckle. Together, human and Vorn slipped into the cave, ready to begin planning their resistance against the Zindar Empire. The fate of an entire world now rested on this unlikely alliance. Inside the ancient Vorn cave, Zara and Fang worked tirelessly. The holographic device hummed softly, projecting images of long-forgotten Vorn technology. Zara's eyes darted from one projection to another, her mind racing with ideas. "Okay, Fang," she said, pacing back and forth. "We need to think smart here. The Zindar have numbers and advanced tech, but we have something they don't expect. A human and a Vorn working together." Fang rumbled in agreement, its claws tapping thoughtfully on the stone floor. Zara stopped suddenly, snapping her fingers. "That's it. Unexpected combinations. We need to blend your people's ancient tech with my knowledge of human science. Create something the Zindar won't see coming. Over the next few days, Zara and Fang put their plan into action. They scavenged parts from Zara's crashed ship, combining them with devices they found hidden in other Vorn caves. Zara's human ingenuity paired perfectly with Fang's intimate knowledge of Vorn technology. Their first creation was a network of sensors, cleverly disguised as native plants. These would alert them to Zindar movements across the planet. Fang used its incredible climbing abilities to place these sensors in high, unreachable places. Next, they developed a communication system using a combination of Vorn biotech and human radio technology. This allowed them to send messages that the Zindar couldn't intercept or understand. But their masterstroke was a weapon unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. It combined the Vorn's natural hunting instincts with human adaptability. Zara called it the chameleon striker. "See, Fang," Zara explained, holding up the sleek device. "It adapts to the user. For a Vorn, it enhances your natural abilities, speed, strength, camouflage. For a human, it boosts our problem-solving skills and reaction time. And the Zindar, they won't even see it coming." As they worked, Zara and Fang also began to rally the other inhabitants of the planet. Fang used its status among the Vorn to convince its people to join the resistance. Zara, meanwhile, used her diplomatic skills to forge alliances with other species they encountered. One evening, as they were finalizing their plans, Zara looked at Fang with a mixture of determination and worry. "Tomorrow's the big day," she said softly. "We strike back against the Zindar. Are you ready?" Fang placed one of its massive claws gently on Zara's shoulder, its eyes conveying a depth of emotion Zara would never have believed possible when they first met. Zara smiled, patting Fang's claw. "You're right. We've got this. Human adaptability and Vorn strength. They won't know what hit them." As dawn broke the next day, Zara and Fang put their plan into action. Using their sensor network, they identified key Zindar installations across the planet. With their unique communication system, they coordinated simultaneous attacks by mixed teams of Vorn and other allied species. Zara led a team to take out the Zindar's main communication hub. As they approached, she activated her chameleon striker. Immediately, she felt her senses sharpen, her mind working faster than ever before. "Remember," she whispered to her team, "a mix of Vorn and other alien allies. We hit hard, we hit fast, and we use their expectations against them. They think they're facing primitive species. Let's show them how wrong they are." With a fierce cry, Zara led the charge. The Zindar, caught completely off guard by the coordinated attack and the advanced weaponry, fell back in disarray. Across the planet, similar scenes played out. Vorn warriors, their natural abilities enhanced by the chameleon strikers, tore through Zindar defenses like they were paper. Other species, emboldened by the human-Vorn alliance, fought with a ferocity that surprised even themselves. As the sun set on that first day of rebellion, Zara and Fang stood on a hilltop, watching Zindar ships fleeing the planet's atmosphere. "We did it," Zara said, her voice filled with awe. "We actually did it." Fang rumbled happily, but its posture remained alert. Both of them knew this was just the beginning. The Zindar Empire wouldn't give up so easily. But for now, they had hope. A human and a Vorn had shown the galaxy what was possible when unlikely allies came together. As they watched the stars come out, Zora couldn't help but smile. Whatever came next, she knew she and Fang would face it together. The peace following their initial victory was short-lived. Just 3 days after driving off the Zindar forces, Zora's makeshift sensors began blaring alarms. She rushed to the command center they had set up in one of the larger Vorn caves. "Fang," Zora called out as she entered. "We've got company." The massive Vorn was already there, its eyes fixed on the holographic display they had cobbled together. The screen showed hundreds of Zindar ships entering the planet's atmosphere. "Looks like they didn't appreciate our welcome party," Zora muttered, her face grim but determined. Fang let out a low growl, its claws flexing in anticipation of the coming battle. Zara took a deep breath, steeling herself. All right, let's show them what a human-Vorn alliance can really do. Sound the alarm. It's time to put our full plan into action. Across the planet, hidden speakers crackled to life, broadcasting a message in multiple languages. Zara's voice, translated by Vorn technology, echoed through forests, caves, and makeshift settlements. Attention, all allies. This is Zara. The Zindar have returned in force. Remember your training. Use the terrain, use your strengths, and most importantly, work together. Today we fight not just for this planet, but for freedom across the galaxy. As Zindar ships descended, they were met with a resistance unlike anything they had faced before. Vorn warriors, their natural abilities enhanced by chameleon strikers, seemed to melt in and out of the dense forest, striking with deadly precision before disappearing again. Other native species, armed with hybrid weapons designed by Zara and Fang, launched ambushes from hidden underground bases. Zindar soldiers found their advanced armor useless against weapons that adapted and changed mid-battle. In the sky, small fighter craft, cobbled together from parts of Zora's ship and ancient Vorn technology, darted between the massive Zindar cruisers. They were piloted by an unlikely mix of species, all united in their desire for freedom. Zara and Fang were at the heart of the battle, coordinating the planet-wide resistance from their command center. But they weren't content to stay on the sidelines. Fang, Zara said, strapping on her chameleon striker, I think it's time we join the fun. What do you say we take the fight to their command ship? Fang's eyes lit up with a predatory gleam. It nodded enthusiastically, already moving towards the cave exit. Together, human and Vorn made their way through the chaotic battlefield. Zara's enhanced reflexes allowed her to dodge energy blasts with ease, while Fang's incredible strength sent Zindar soldiers flying. They fought their way to a small clearing where one of their hybrid ships was hidden. As Zara fired up the engines, Fang squeezed its massive form into the co-pilot seat. Hang on. Zara grinned. This might get a bit bumpy. Their ship shot into the sky, weaving between battles and debris. Zara's piloting skills, honed by years of space exploration and now enhanced by the chameleon striker, allowed them to approach the Zindar command ship undetected. As they neared their target, a squadron of Zindar fighters noticed them. But before the enemy could react, Fang had taken control of the weapons system. With uncanny accuracy, the Vorn took out the entire squadron in seconds. Nice shooting, partner, Zara laughed, her earlier tension fading in the thrill of battle. They landed in the Zindar ship's docking bay, alarms blaring around them. As they disembarked, they were met by a squad of elite Zindar guards. Ready to show these bullies what we can do? Zara asked, activating her chameleon striker. Fang roared in response, its form seeming to shimmer as its own striker activated. What followed was a battle that would be talked about for generations to come. Human ingenuity and Vorn ferocity, both enhanced by their hybrid technology, proved to be more than a match for the Zindar's cold efficiency. As they fought their way towards the ship's bridge, Zara couldn't help but marvel at how far they had come. A human and a Vorn, working in perfect sync, about to change the course of galactic history. The bridge doors loomed before them. Zara and Fang exchanged a look. Whatever waited on the other side, they would face it together. Ready? Zara asked. Fang nodded. With a deep breath, Zara hit the door controls. As the doors slid open, they charged forward, ready to write the final chapter of their incredible journey. The bridge doors slid open with a hiss, revealing a scene of controlled chaos. Zindar officers rushed back and forth between flashing consoles, barking orders in their harsh, mechanical language. At the center of it all stood a figure that could only be the Zindar commander, its armor more elaborate and menacing than the others. Zara and Fang burst onto the bridge, their chameleon strikers humming with energy. The Zindar, caught off guard by the sudden intrusion, froze for a moment in shock. Impossible. The commander's voice boomed. A human and a Vorn, working together. Surprise, Zara grinned, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Looks like your intel needs updating. What followed was a battle unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. Zara darted between consoles, her enhanced reflexes allowing her to dodge energy blasts while she sabotaged the ship's systems. Fang, meanwhile, was a whirlwind of claws and teeth, keeping the Zindar soldiers at bay. As the fight raged on, Zara noticed something strange. The other species they had rallied to their cause were appearing on the bridge, seemingly out of nowhere. She realized with a start that their actions had inspired others. The oppressed species of the planet had infiltrated the other Zindar ships, turning the tide of the battle. Finally, Zara found herself face to face with the Zindar commander. The alien towered over her, its mask-like face betraying no emotion. "Why do you resist?" it asked, its voice a mixture of curiosity and frustration. "The Zindar bring order to chaos. We offer progress, advancement." Zara stood tall, her eyes flashing with determination. Progress at the cost of freedom isn't progress at all. True advancement comes from cooperation, not subjugation. Look around you, a human and a Vorn, working together. Species you thought were primitive, outsmarting your advanced technology. That's real progress. For a moment, the commander was silent. Then, to everyone's surprise, it started to laugh. The sound was strange, almost rusty, as if it hadn't laughed in centuries. "Perhaps," the commander said slowly, "we have something to learn from you after all." With those words, the commander reached up and removed its mask. The face beneath was not the monstrous visage Zara had expected, but one etched with weariness, and she realized a glimmer of hope. "I, Zornax, leader of the Zindar Empire, hereby declare an end to this conflict," the commander announced, its voice echoing across the ship's communication systems. "Let it be known that on this day, we have witnessed the birth of a new way of thinking." The news spread quickly. Across the planet, across the fleet, weapons fell silent. Zindar soldiers stood down, looking around in confusion and, in some cases, relief. In the days that followed, an uneasy peace settled over the planet. Representatives from all species, including the Zindar, gathered to discuss the future. Zara and Fang found themselves at the center of these talks, their unlikely friendship serving as a beacon of hope for what was possible. One evening, as they watched the sun set over the alien landscape, Zara turned to Fang. "You know," she said, "when I crashed on this planet, I thought it was the worst thing that could have happened to me. But now, I wouldn't change it for anything." Fang rumbled in agreement, its eyes reflecting the warmth of the setting sun. As news of their victory spread across the galaxy, more and more ships arrived at the planet. But this time, they came not as conquerors, but as curious visitors and potential allies. The planet became a symbol of unity, a place where species from across the galaxy could come together and learn from each other. Zara and Fang found themselves at the heart of this new galactic order. Their story was told and retold, a testament to the power of friendship and understanding across the boundaries of species. "So, partner," Zara said, a twinkle in her eye as she looked up at her Vorn friend. "Ready for our next adventure?" Fang's answering roar echoed across the landscape, full of excitement for the future they would face together. And so, as the stars came out over their adopted home, human and Vorn stood side by side, ready to take on whatever the vast, mysterious galaxy might throw at them next. Their unlikely friendship had changed the course of history, proving that even in the darkest times, hope could be found in the most unexpected places.